What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator 2021 with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and this is today's project. This is the Volvo 240 Coupe mod added in, and obviously we already know it's added in by Payne, but it's been recently updated by Payne to include some of these lowered coupes and things like that. There's a lot more going on in this mod now. Definitely, if you've got this one, go and check out some of the configs and see what's available. There's definitely a lot more fun stuff in there. This is the coupe lowered, the 1975. That's what we've gone for. It's got a very European style, and I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to get this one built. I'm not sure what colour to go for on this one today, though, so we'll have to figure that one out as we go. As I said, this is the Volvo 240. It's the coupe lowered. It's available from the barn, the junkyard, or the auction house, so you can get it in the bad auction house, which is what we did. And yeah, everything is in pretty bad condition, apart from that frame at 26%. Isn't too shabby at all. But did we get a good deal for the Volvo? Absolutely not. But we didn't pay very much for it, so I'm sure we'll be able to claw it back. 3,684 is what I paid, and I could sell it for 2,907, losing out on 777 before we begin, but we should be able to claw that one back a little bit later on. Now, the engine in this is the V8 single overhead cam FME engine. We are going to swap that one today. We're going to see if we can try and stuff a 6.2-litre Hemi Hellcat under this engine bay. I think the Hemi is a lot bigger, so I'm not sure if we're actually going to be able to fit it in and close that hood. We might have to do a little cheeky little hood delete on this Volvo, but we shall see a little bit later on. This is the project for today. I cannot wait to get stuck into this one. It is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to take it back to the drag strip. We're going to go back here again today, see if we can beat out the last car, which is Lucky's Turbo Sakura Super. Not sure if we're about to beat that one. It was a little bit wild, but this sleeper sort of style Volvo, hopefully it's going to get in this top 10 and not be on the edge with that Volkswagen Transporter double cab pickup. But it is what it is. So let's get started with our beautiful Volvo. We are missing a lot. There is no engine in there at all, so we've got no liquids to drain. A lot of the suspension is all missing, so I need to figure all of that stuff out as well a little bit later on. But for the minute, let's just get it into the car wash. Let's get this beautiful little Volvo all cleaned up. In the car wash with the Volvo, let's get her clean and see what colour is underneath all that dust and grime, and see if we can come up with an idea of what we're going to go for later. French Toast wants me to do a cream beige or baby poo brown, we'll call it, and I think that might be the choice. Definitely not this light blue that's currently on it. Not a big fan of that one, but it is what it is. Let's get the interior done, get this beast back on the lifter, get everything stripped out, and then we can test fit a new engine, see if we can fit that Hemi Hellcat inside this engine bay, and maybe, just maybe, get that hood closed. There is no engine in our beautiful little Volvo, so we know we don't need to drain any oil or anything like that today. So let's just get on and see what we are missing from this engine bay. Obviously, we've got the air filter just up here, the battery just there, and a fuse box just up there, all tucked in nicely. We've got a big old radiator at the front with the power steering at wishy-washy and the coolant reservoir all set up the side there, nice and simple. Brake servo at the back. We've got an ECU Type A in there and an ABS pump and module. We are missing all of the exhaust, all of the engine bay, and the fuel tank and fuel pump down there. So we're going to have to get that all sorted out. By the looks of it, we're also missing quite a lot of the suspension. Oh, maybe not the rear suspension. Brake pad, brake caliper, and the little pins. Maybe just for the back there. Does look like we have got everything else. We don't have a drive shaft, so we're definitely going to need to add that one as well in there so we can get that one going on, but we won't see that until later with the gearbox. Then for the front suspension, we're missing the lower arm, some of the bushings, a few bits like that, the wheel hub bearing in there, and obviously that end cap as well. So there is quite a bit missing. So we're going to have to get all of that sorted, replaced, and ready to go back on. I'm going to get all that sorted now, and when we come back, it'll be time to test fit that beautiful Hemi engine, and then get all the bodywork sorted for this beautiful Volvo before putting it into the paint shop and finally deciding a colour. That's everything repaired, replaced, or upgraded, ready to go back in the Volvo, including building that Hemi. Now, we've got to see if it fits inside the car, because it's a bit of a chunkier engine. So let's have a look. Oh, that does look like it's going to fit in there, which is going to be fantastic. Very quickly, I think we should just go and buy the specific hood that we need. Let's just go into here. Volvo, there you are. I'm just going to buy the one that we need. We'll come back in here and check it in a second and see if we can change it to a different one. But I just wanted to make sure that fit without any clipping, which is absolutely fantastic. Definitely what I wanted to see. So let's get that hood off of there and let's get that engine ripped back out of there. Out you come, nice and easy. And now let's start sorting all of this body out. Obviously, we'll just start with these lovely little headlights. Out you come there. Is there anything else from the front end? It doesn't look like it until we get to the front clamshell, which is just the window wiper section, I believe. I'm not 100%, but it looks like that's all that was. Let's keep going around. We've got a left body window there. No fenders or nothing. Rear window. I mean, there was quite a bit missing from this car. We will need that license plate out of there. Tail light out you come. Coming back around, rear window. That's obviously a door. We're going to need that. We are going to need the roof. I believe that's a clamshell piece, but I'm not 100%. And I think that might be everything. Everything else is part of the interior or the body. I believe so. So let's just get in and get that interior out. Out with you and out with you. I'm definitely not sure what we're going to do with the interior on this one today. It's definitely going to be a wild one. But is that everything out? That's not the screen I want. 1% on there. And I'm missing a car part 5i. Let's just go back into the shop, clear that, and see what car part 5i is meant to be. It is some bumper sections somewhere. Oh, these little pieces here. There we go. Nice and simple. The headlight, no. The license plate lights and the mount holders on there. But there we go. That should now be everything. Absolutely fantastic. Frames at 26%, and I bought it for a little over 3,500. So what do we reckon today? Probably, I've been so wrong on all of these recently. I'm just going to go 1,500. 750. I was wrong. Definitely wrong. But now let's fully go and check out the 17 pages worth. I don't think we're going to check out everything in a detail. Let's just go back to the top. So we've got different spoiler options for car part 1 all the way up to there. I think for car part 2, I don't know what part it is. We'll have to figure it out as we go. Mud flaps. For the estate, they are named, so that's good. The coupe sedan, so I believe we can probably use any of these ones here for mud flaps. But I'll see what the car wants first. Then we've got what is car part 3. Looks like a little chin spoiler on that one, or a hood lip maybe, because it needs to go with a specific hood. Well, these two do at least anyway. Car part 4, well, I think one of them is just going to go on anyway. Car part 5, we're going to stick with the license plate holder bits. I think they looked quite good on there. Then we got plenty of front bumper options to play around with for this one today. I'm going to make it look awesome, don't you worry. Then front clamshell pieces, which is the window wiper parts, but also some other parts as well. So we'll have to make sure we get that right. Plenty of front end options, loads of door options, front fender options, more door options, more front fenders. Then we've got lots of hood options. We can have a look at some of them later. Obviously, I've bought the one that we specifically needed. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's this one here. But we'll have a play with them later. Lots of headlight options. I do think I'm going to go for a single light style rather than a double light, and probably a round instead of a square. But that's just my personal preference. Although I do like the 7.7 custom lights. But we'll see. Plenty of tail light options, rear bumper options as well, including some of these absolutely massive rear diffusers. Then this is the clamshell. This is the roof with the sunroof, without, so on and so forth, with some snowboards on the top, some luggage on the top, things like that. Rear doors for the bigger ones, wider fenders at the back there. There is a lot going on, different window options. There is so much to this mod. It is unbelievable. If we were stand here and go through everything as it was, we'd be here forever. But now the frame's all sorted. Now I'm going to go repair some pieces, because I do think we're going to pretty much put this one back together as it should be, rather than going through everything that we could. Maybe a future options like the headlights, the tail lights, and a few bits like that. We shall see. So I'm going to go prepare some parts, and then we'll get it back together. Well, I only managed to actually repair one part, so we've had to go and buy lots of other things, and I've pretty much got everything I think I want to get this beautiful Volvo all back together. But let's crack on. Let's get started with that interior. I've kept the rear bench, the Valsen bench. It fits nicely. And I've also kept the front seats the same as well, so we can hopefully get all of that colour match to the same a little bit later on. But as for the steering wheel, I thought, why not go a little bit out? I've gone for one of the Momo steering wheels available from my pack from Multiply. Thank you so much for him. It doesn't quite fit perfectly, but we can live with that one. It is what it is. Let's crack on, though. Let's start getting this beautiful body back together. I'm going to start with this rear clamshell piece on the top. Now, there is a few options for this. I've just gone for the coupe sedan. There's a version I and a version K, and as far as I can tell, the two of them looked the same. No sunroof, no hood scoops, nothing like, or roof scoops, should I say, nothing like that. just a plain old hood roof on there. I did buy the other one. We'll see if we need it a little bit later on. Now, one part took me absolutely ages to find is this tiny little part up here. Car part 2 on this build is literally just some tiny little clips, as you can see on there. So make sure you don't forget them. I think on other cars, it'll be like mud flaps as well and stuff like that. So there's a few bits to play around with there. But let's get back to the front. On with these doors. They are the 777 custom doors, shaved door handles. They're looking fantastic. Now, there is 2 front windows for the coupe. One that fits a little strip down here, which I don't want because it doesn't carry on. So we will be taking that one out and putting the normal window back in. I just figured I'd show you it as I figured it out. The rear body window for the coupe, it is just, or the coupe, it is just the one as it is. So let's get them in, and with that door on the other side, in we go, and on we go there. The mirrors, there is 3 options. You've got the bog standard one, and as this is a inverted commas sleeper build, we're going to go for the bog standard ones. We'll jump into the shop. We don't want to be in that shop. We want to go back to this shop. Just show you the other 2 mirrors if I can find them quickly. Yeah, you got the 77 custom one, which looks very fancy, and then a more retro one just in the chrome. But we're sort of avoiding chrome on this one if we can. Probably use some brushed aluminium, but we shall see. Windshield, now there is 3 of these, 2 that have what looks like a chrome surround, but we don't want them on this build, so we're just going for the plain windshield. Now, the front clamshell, used with hoods H to T, and then the other version of this is the hoods before it. We are using a hood H to T, so we're going with that one in there, nice and simple. And as you can see for the hood I've gone for the cutout hood, 777 Customs. It's got all the cutouts. It fits with the piece we just put in. You can get this one as well with hood pins, but I figured we're going to leave the hood pins on there, just keep the cutouts because it looks smart. Car part 4, this is that big chunky piece, just the correct year. That's the one it wanted, so that's the one that's going in there. And then we'll do the front right fenders, which are the rolled fenders, 777 Custom, which I do think is pretty much the theme for this build. Front bumper, that is the 77 Customs, completely smoothed. It looks absolutely beautiful on there. I love the look of this car. And then a tiny little piece we got down here, just in between car part 3. There is, again, I think 3 different parts, but this is the only one that fits this particular build. They all go with a specific front end. And the front end I'm going for is the 77 Customs debadged front end, just because it looks pretty smart. Now, there's 2 headlight options we've got for this particular front end T only. On the left side here, I've gone for this one that's got the reflector in it. And on the right side is the other one that we can use that doesn't have the reflector. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to take the reflector out, and we're going to keep whatever one this light is. So I'm going to take it out. That is the N light. So we're going to have to go back in and buy the left side N light. So let's get on and quickly do that. Left side T. Where's the N one? There it is. N1. That's the one without the reflector in there, I guess. So let's get you on there as well. N, on we go. No reflectors. Blank license plate for the front, just for the time being. And let's crack on and get around. Did we finish all of that side? We did indeed. So then for our rear right fenders on this one, it's the rolled fenders 777, as you probably would have guessed on that. In they go, and in they go. Now, the rear window, I do love a louvered vent. So for my coupe sedan, I've gone for the 77 custom one. That's not the one it wanted to come on it. I just love a louvered vent on there. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. As for the trunk, this particular model, there is 2 types, one with hood pins and one without. That is the only difference between them. We're going for the one without. And the reason is because that spoiler, the hood pins sit just there. Well, they sit at the top as well, but sit just there underneath the spoiler. We'll come back to the spoiler in a second. Rear bumper is the big 777 Customs, absolute wild diffuser on there. It is looking absolutely awesome. Not so much of a sleeper build because, that's pretty obvious. But from the front, it's definitely a bit of a sleeper build. You're not really going to see them hood cutouts on there. So anyway, let's get cracking with this. Car part 5 is what it is for this build. So we're going to put that one back on. And I have adjusted the license plate position. It does sit much further up, but obviously I've got branding and my logos and stuff on there. So I just brought it back down so we could see it all. For the tail lights, there's 2 options for this model. You've got your bog standard one, and then you've got the absolutely awesome. I did try some of the others, but they don't fit. Trust me. And then you've got that absolutely awesome one there. But, I mean, they still kind of look like they don't fit, but we're just going to deal with them. They're looking good. That's the ones for it. They do actually fit, even if they look like they don't. But we're going to take this one out and get the tinted one in there. So I just need to go and buy that one again quickly. Where are we? I want the left one, don't I? Not the right one. Let's go back up. Almost bought the wrong one there. Trying to save myself some money as we go. Not the best. On we go with that. Now, as for the spoiler options, there's a few to go for on this one. The one it wants is Car Part 1i. So we're going to have a look at some of the other ones. H in there is an actual little winged spoiler, non-carbon fiber. I believe this one does also come in. I believe this one does also come in a carbon fiber as well. I didn't want to do that. I want to go back into here and try the next one. So we'll go with K next, which is just that big old drag wing. Probably much the same wing, just pushed further back and in a carbon fiber. Not what I think we're going to need for this one. We are going to probably end up with the I one that it wants, but let's try J. J's a much, ooh, J's not bad actually on that build. Maybe we go for that J spoiler. What do you think? What would you go for? Let me know in the comments below. Would it be that big old J spoiler, or are we going to go for just the little lip spoiler that it kind of wants anyway? What would you go for the time being? I'm going to leave it with the lip spoiler, and then I'm going to ask in my Discord which one that people think we should use. So if you're a member, you know, click the join button below, £2.99 a month. Become a member of the VM Garage Club or Garage Club. And then you can come and help me on Discord, where I will share all of my custom configs and liveries, and also ask for you guys for opinions on things for builds while they're happening. So I'm definitely going to get that one on there. But I think we might have got everything for this body if I leave that one as it is. Let's just double check. 100%, 100%, 100%. That's what we like. Time to get this beast into the paint shop and pick some colours. Here we are then in the paint shop. And yes, this is the colour I'm going for today. This very sort of goldy brown. We've just referred to it as goldy browny colour. I think it looks a bit off, but that's kind of what we were going for this sort of sleeper-ish sort of style Volvo build. As you can see, there are no liveries. I have had a look on the workshop. There aren't any on the workshop either, which is a bit of a shame, but I do like the look of this in this colour. Plus, we got a bit of carbon fibre we can play with if we want to. I may try and add some carbon fibre onto them louvered vents if we can. And then, obviously, just this body colour. And then for the bolts on this one today, I've just gone for a full blacked out bolt. Not that we can see anything for the moment, but we know it's going to be there. So let's just get these colours applied. I don't know how I feel about it. This is an awful colour, but it's so awful that it might just work and finish this build off, I reckon, with some black rims and stuff like that in there. Open the engine bay, or that is very browny in there. So we're going to have to do something with the colours. I mean, we've got carbon fibre, we've got some steel black, maybe even some brushed aluminium underneath the engine bay on this one as well today. We'll see by the time we come to paint that one. One thing I definitely do think I want to try and do is get some of that carbon fibre on the louvered vents there, and maybe on the mirrors as well, just so we can try and make that match a little bit more with that spoiler and the diffuser at the back. And for the time being, I did swap the spoiler out to the lifted up one. I'm still waiting to hear back from my members what they think, whether we should go for the little lipped spoiler or the big lifted up spoiler that we've currently got on there. We'll decide as we go, but they're both with carbon fibre anyway, so I'm just going to try and add a splash of carbon fibre onto the louvered vents, and then maybe do something with these seats. I like the steering wheel, already like that. So we may just leave that one as it is, but I'm going to take it out anyway and see what else we can do with the colours. But we may add a little bit to the interior. Who knows? Maybe something cool, but we'll see all of that in just a moment. So I'm going to get them bits painted. I love this parcel shelf on there with the speakers on it. Anyway, I'm going to get all of them bits painted. We'll get it back together, and then we'll have a quick look before we get it back on the lifter and start reassembly of this beautiful project. What happened with the lighting then? Did everybody see that? Was that just me? It looked like a window opened or something, but there we go. Never mind. I'm going to get them bits painted, and we'll see what they look like. There we go. I got some carbon fibre on that louvered window at the back there. Very, very good match in what's actually on the rear spoiler already. Looking quite nice. Couldn't quite get the same match on the mirrors, although they do have carbon fibre on them. They're just a little bit harder to see. You can see it's a much finer weave on there. But the difference between that one and this is carbon fibre 3 in quality of life mod. Difference between 3 and 2 was just so wild that 2 would have never quite cut it. But still looking quite good on there. For the interior, I did add some of that beautiful colour to the headrests and onto the seatbelt clips. We did the same for the front, but it did the base as well. And I actually think it looks quite good. And we added a little bit more to the rest of that steering wheel, just a few more bits in there. Again, I think that's looking beautiful. I think that's everything externally ready to go on this beautiful car. If we open up that, we've got plenty of bits to go in there. I'm going to have to get all of that finished. And also that Hemi Hellcat, we need to get that one all painted and ready to go back on this beautiful Volvo before we take this kind of semi-sleeper onto the drag strip to see what this crazy beast can do with a Hemi Hellcat. That's everything painted for the beautiful Volvo 240, and I finally come up with a name for this wild little build. We're calling this the Mullet Sleeper because it's very much business at the front. As you can see, all looking pretty in line there. And at the back, That's definitely where the party is all happening, all that carbon fiber in there. We've kept the lip spoiler instead of going for the big arch spoiler, as you can see. I think it's just fits it a little bit better, even though it is more wild at the back. It still fits in it quite nicely. Very pleased with that. So yes, the Mullet Sleeper is what we're calling it. But let's get in and see how we've painted some of these parts. If we jump into the engine bay, ABS pump and module both fully blacked out. The brake boosters blacked out all the way around, apart from the canister there, and all of the other liquid reservoirs are all fully blacked out, looking quite nice. If we jump in onto here, you can just about see it. It's got just about a carbon fiber weave on the air filter and on the fuse box just there. And there's also a little bit of a carbon weave on the lid of the battery, with the actual tray in a black and the poles in a brushed aluminium. We've got that browny goldy colour on the fans. I'm still not going to call that a name. And then also the fans on the clips and on the fan in the fan housing kit. Blacked out radiator, and it is, again, carbon fibre on the back of that radiator housing. It's just a very fine weave and a little bit hard to see. That's all of the engine bay sorted. The ECU was obviously in there and ready to go. But let's jump back down and check out the suspension. Lots of brushed aluminium in there. Only a few little bits body coloured. Just the brake caliper, the wheel hub, the spring, and then the very centre of all of them bushings that are mostly blacked out with the blacked out bolts on there. That's all looking very nice, in my opinion. We'll have a proper look on the underside later. Same at the back. Mostly a lot of that brushed aluminium with a few splashes of that body coloured goldy brown colour on there. Again, on the fuel pump as well. But it is looking fantastic. But now we need to go and build that 6.2 Hemi Hellcat engine. So let's get in here and see what we've done or are doing with this engine. The block is in brushed aluminium and a little bit of that body coloured brown, mostly just so that we can see it on this lovely oil tube there, or oil fill tube. I don't know, I can't remember what you call that part, but never mind. Oil pans in a black. The heads are in black and the browny sort of colour from the body. On the inside there, mostly just on the black on the outside. This side's got a little bit more going on the outside. In the centre, you've got 8 valve push rods on each side, 8 spark plugs on each side, so 16 of each of them in total. Then one rocker arm just going over the top nice and easily. And then you've got a cam gear and a timing chain on the front there. But let's get on and get the rest of this beautiful engine all together. Timing covers in black and that body coloured brown on the front there. Just a tiny little sliver in the middle. Then we've got the water pump in a black and brushed aluminium. Mostly brushed aluminium with a few little bits of black accents just for good measure. Alternator in that beautiful aluminium colour along with the power steering pump. But that does have a little splash of black on it, just on the wheel there and on a few of the little accessory parts. Crankshaft pulley, brushed aluminium, looking good. And then all of the idle rollers are in that beautiful body coloured, I say beautiful, you know, the semi-beautiful body colour that we've got going on there. So let's get all of them in for the time being. There is more to go. We have to come to them later. Oil filter down here is just blacked out. And then let's jump up and let's get our engine head covers on. These are fully in that body colour and it is looking very nice. Can't wait to get this into the car and let's see what it looks like. We've also got little black ignition coils in these as well. So let's get all of these finished off and then jump over and get the other side done. There we go. All the ignition coils done on the other side as well as that head on. It is all looking very good. But I do think we should get on with this supercharger. On you go. You're in a black and that body coloured brown colour on there. Just for some extra bolts on the top in that colour. Especially as these bolts that I'm currently bolting up, they will go black when we drop it in the car. So you probably won't really see them anyway. But let's crack on. Fuel rails are in a brushed aluminium and a little bit of that body colour on there as well. Again, looking fantastic in you go and in you go. Another idle roller that we can squeeze in up here. On you go there. And we do also have these fuel rail covers. On they go. They're in black and that body colour on there as well. And it is looking absolutely fantastic. Loving the way that all comes together. Looking very, very nice. On with our first 17 belts. In you go. Blacked out as normal. Then we've got our last idle roller in there. And also a water pump pulley in the centre there, just in a blacked out. I do think there is actually one more idle roller. So we get the last belt on. On you go there. There is. I did think there was one more. Another idle roller just in there. And then a belt tensioner just on this side. Just blacked out. Blending in with the rest of that engine. On with this throttle for the V8 Hellcat in that body coloured brown there with a little splash of black just on the inside. Looking quite good. But let's get on the exhaust manifolds. One on this side in the brushed aluminium. It is looking beautiful. I will talk about things that we've changed on the car in just a moment when we get all of this ready to go in, because I have had to change all of the exhaust pretty much. So we get all of that on with a black fuel filter as well. And that is that beautiful Hemi Hellcat engine all finished with our off-color brown on it. But let's get it off the stand and let's get this beautiful Hellcat dropped into the Volvo. Let's get a Hemi dropped into a Volvo and see what it looks like. In you go. Get that crane put away and let's take a look. Very, very black on the top there, with a lot of that body colour sticking out underneath, and you can barely see any of the brushed aluminium parts in there. A little bit coming out just on either side from the fuel rails, and then just a little bit in the centre that you can just about see if you look at it at the right angle. Now let's talk about a few things I did swap on the config. I brought the spring heights down so they didn't clip with these arches anymore in the car editor. I did also move this engine back ever so slightly. If I just jump up to here, it was fully clipping into here, probably round about here. So I just brought it back a little bit so that it wasn't, so that it lined up a little better. There is still some little parts of clipping. I do believe the alternator clips over here, and we do also clip with the cross member at the bottom just a little bit there, but it looks all right. It sort of all works. I think it's very nicely done, in all honesty. The other thing we did change is obviously I re-amended the drive shaft, and also we've had to change all of that exhaust. So if you want to put the Hemi Hellcat in, you are going to need the specific exhaust for it, so we'll get on and get that all in a second. I have made it work with some additional exhaust tips, shall we say. Hopefully you'll think it looks good, but let's get on and get underneath and start getting some of those pieces in, starting with that wonderful gearbox. In you go, in the brushed aluminium and black, and all our black bolts. I forgot all about all our black bolts. Let's check them on the engine. Looking nice. Oh, see, that's so much better just in there, where it fills in the gaps, in my opinion. These ones on the top would have been nice if we could have kept all of them body colour with the rest of the ones up there. But apart from that, all the black bolts are looking very, very good. Let's crack on, though. Starters in here. This bit definitely clips, but it's just blacked out in there, clipping in with that cross member. And if we go onto our drive shaft, let's get you in you go. Left it in its normal base carbon fibre with a bit of that body colour brown on the outside. I couldn't do what I wanted with it. A shame, but it still looks good nonetheless. So let's crack on. Now, all of this exhaust was very easy to line up. I am going to be truly honest. This is obviously the Hemi Hellcat exhaust. And once you get it the same size aspect as the engine, get it centered and it just slides into place. Just a little bit of height and a little bit of forward and backwards. Nice and easy to do. But you will note that when it's in scale, it won't fully fit this vehicle. It's a little bit long. So we've got on the end a couple of GT40 exhaust tips, which we can only get to from the engine bay. So I'll grab them in just a second. But there we go. That's looking pretty good. We'll just get it back down on the ground so we can get those GT40 exhaust tips on through the engine bay. And then we'll get it back up in the air and take a walk out from the underneath and see what it looks like. Can we get down the back from up here? We can. There they are, GT40, in you go, and GT40, in you go, in the brushed aluminium. Now, it looks like it's a weird fitment there, but that big diffuser definitely fixes all of that. So let's get it back up in the air so that we can take a walk out for this beautiful Volvo and see what all of that underside looks like from the front there. That's already looking good. This is definitely the way to do it. Let's crouch down a little bit, though. Lots of that brushed aluminium underneath. Some of the body colour bits just clipping on through, like the brake calipers in there. Looking very, very nice. A little bit more from the drive shaft and the brake calipers. And then, as you can see, this was the little bit of clipping that I said about. It looks a bit weird from this angle. Definitely looks a little bit weird from this angle. But if you get it back down onto the ground level and come round the back, you can barely even see it. It just kind of looks like it's meant to be there with a weird quad exhaust on it. That's what I've gone for today. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. As far as I'm aware, all we got left to do is get the wheels on, get the liquids topped up, and get the windows tinted. So let's crack on, get all of that done, and get this beautiful Volvo outside in the sun. Here's the window tint we've gone for today. This is a 50% or 50 coverage, whatever you want to call on it, on the front and side windows in there. Just about visible through the windows and stuff. Looking quite nice. Ready for on the drag strip a little bit later on. The rear windows aren't 100% as normal. They're only at 70. Just to, again, give it a bit more of a believable sort of sleeper, mullet sleeper build on there. For the front lights, we did also tint these side ones just around 50 on there as well, just to give them a little bit extra coverage, just make them a little bit darker, just a little bit meaner. But I didn't do anything to the rear lights, but that's it for the tinting. That was nice and easy. That's all we did on that one. Very simple to do, and I like it. But let's get on, and let's get some rims painted, ready for this beautiful car. The rims we're going for today are the M1 Pro car from the BMW DLC. Looking fantastic. I'm going to go for our body-coloured brown on there, but I'm also going to go, as per usual, probably up to steel black, I reckon, and have a look. See if we can get it mostly black with a little splash of that colour in there. That would have been nice if more went black. No, just the center. I don't want any chrome on the outside. That's not too shabby, but again, a bit of chrome on the middle. And then fully paint and mix. We get full blacked out rim with a bit of their body colored accents around the outside on that centerpiece and a few little dots on there. So I definitely think that's what we're going to go for on this beautiful rim. Let's get you painted. Let's get these wheels and tires all together and then on to the beautiful Volvo. Just balancing the last wheel now, and then we can get these two for this side onto the car and get this beautiful Volvo all finished off. Apart from liquids, I need to still do the liquids, but we'll get on with that in a second. I do think this Mullet Sleeper is looking absolutely fantastic, but let's get on and get these rims on. As I said, it is the M1 Pro Car rims. For the rear wheels, we've gone for a 16-inch rim with a 275 width, a 25 profile, and ET of 50 on there. On some wonderful slick tyres. Make sure you get them on. And these rims are looking fantastic. In with that extra bit of colour in the centre there. Looking beautiful. We'll have a full look at them in a second. For the front rims, it's still a 16-inch rim, but it's 245 width with a 25 profile and only ET of 40 needed on the fronts to bring them out enough. But let's get them on and let's take a step away. In fact, we could probably drop this car back down now. I like that. Front wheel maybe a little bit too small, but I like it. You can still get some turning angle in there and things like that. That's how it should be. I love that. I think that's such a good stance and look. Excellent job by Payne, even with some gentle modifications by myself, especially them quad tip exhaust. I'm loving that. Looks beautiful. But there we go. That's the car all done. I'm just going to get the liquids topped up and we'll get it outside in the sun. There she is, outside in the sun, all finished and looking beautiful. We just got one thing left to do to this beautiful car. And let's get these plates swapped out to my show plates for today, which is MLT Sleeper, or Mullet Sleeper, as we've been effectively calling it. Absolutely love that. Obviously abbreviated to make sure it all fit on there. But let's get that rear one off and on with our correct plate for sale. On you go, a Mullet Sleeper. Looking pretty good. Probably just looks like it says Malt Sleeper, but mullet is definitely the words we were looking for there. Mullet Sleeper on this beautiful Volvo. But let's jump inside and see what that Hemi Hellcat sounds like inside the Mullet Sleeper. Looking good in here. Dashboard's all nice. Seats are looking good, especially with that little bit of colour on there as well, along with our Momo steering wheel. Well, let's get it started up and listen to that Hemi Hellcat purr. Nice little tick over. Very grumbly, but let's give it some gas. That supercharger whine sounded absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait to get this beast onto the drag strip in a little while. But before we do that, we need to get this one dynoed. So let's get it over to the dyno, see what its horsepower is and what its drag rating will be. On the dyno then, with the Volvo 240 lowered coupe, or the Mullet Sleeper as we've been calling it. Swapped in that Hemi Hellcat engine with 614 factory horsepower. How much have we added with our performance parts and tuning? A gain of 649 horsepower, 106%. I'm always happy when it's more than a new engine. Bringing us up to 1,262 total horsepower and a drag rating of A, 988. Very, very close to the top rating in the drag rating there. Just not quite. Change that A for a 1. That's the year I was born. Yes, I'm quite old. Let's crack on. Let's get on with it. Let's have a look at the gearbox tune we've got here. I've gone for a final ratio of 1.5, giving us 94 kilometers an hour in first gear, up to reported 281 in the fifth gear. When you start with this car, it does have all 9 gears and the curve is much tighter going all the way down, but we didn't need all of them for the quarter-mile drag strip. So that's what I've gone for this one today. If you want to copy it, please do. Don't forget, fully tuned stage 3 ECU, adding 16% additional power, and you can learn how to easily do that with the short linked in the top right-hand corner here or in the description below. Easily to tune the ECU every time without fail. There's also a short for the carburetor linked in the video description below as well. But let's get on to the drag strip and see what we can do with the Mullet Sleeper. Back at the drag strip with the Volvo 240. Let's get on with it. King of the Sands, quarter of a mile and A-class, considering we're right at that top end. Pay our 1,000 entry fee. And who have we got with us today? Our first race is against the DMC wide-body DeLorean. Pretty epic, that one there. We know that can be a nightmare on the drag strip. Cope the Koala's with us, also in a wide-body DeLorean on there. Loving that. French Toast in another wide-body DeLorean. I definitely feel like there's a theme going on here, because Dead Bob's up here, also in a wide-body DeLorean. We have another one up there as well. We also have the Delray Custom VM Gasser in here as well. Ford Mustang drag car, a few other things. The Ford Fiesta Pikes Peaks here as well. Loving to see that one. But let's get on with our first race against a wide-body DeLorean. Can we get through that one and get into the next round? The beautiful wide-body DeLorean versus our Hemi Hellcat powered Mullet Sleeper Volvo over there. Who's going to take the win for this one? Hopefully that Hemi Hellcat can just about squeeze enough power. Let's find out who's going to win. Let's go. Come on, you little beast. Off the line. Into second. Let it twink a little bit into third. And then into fourth gear. Very quickly into fifth gear as well. But it looks like we are in the lead and across the line. What sort of times have we got for our first run? And 9.283 seconds to the quarter of a mile at 267 kilometers an hour. Absolutely smashing the wide-body DeLorean. Very happy to see that from race number 1. But let's crack on and see who we've got for round 2. Cope the Koala's out. Payne's out. But French Toast is still in that wide-body DeLorean. And if he makes it all the way to the final, this could be the game where we finally make it a French Toast Virtual Mechanic final. Can we get there, though, ourselves? First off, we've got to get through the Ford Mustang drag car. So let's get on with it, and let's try and win. A specialist drag-built Ford Mustang versus our sleeper road car Volvo semi-sleeper, mullet sleeper. We know what we're doing with it. Powered by that Hemi Hellcat. Who's going to take the win? I feel like it should be the Mustang, but I'm hoping the sleeper can just about squeeze it out. Let's go. Come on, you little beast. Off the line. Oh, into second, into third. That might not have been the greatest gear change ever, but we are still in the lead and pulling away. Happy with that. Let's get across the line. What have we got for race number 2? 9.485. That was definitely my fault for a very bad gear change and 265 kilometers an hour. Much, much slower. That was all on me. Luckily, that drag Mustang wasn't quite as good as it's set up to be with a 10.075 seconds to the quarter of a mile. Again, absolutely smashing that one. Half a second faster than a Ford Mustang drag. But we've made it into the semi-final. Let's go see who we're up against and see if French Toast made it through as well. French Toast did make it through into the semi-final as well. We've got to get through the Hamad Al-Stral S VM Thor edition, which again, we know is pretty powerful. But French Toast also got to beat a Ford Mustang drag car. Can we both make it into the final and finally have the French Toast Virtual Mechanic face-off that we've been wanting since the drag strip was added to the game? Let's get on with it. Let's go. Now, this doesn't seem fair. A 70s box car versus a modern hypercar. On paper, I definitely know which one should take the win, but I'm hoping we can squeeze out the victory with our Mullet Sleeper. Let's get in and let's try and beat the Hamad Al-Stral S VM Thor Edition. Come on, you little beast. Off the line. Into second. Let it tick into third. Come on, you little beast. Into fourth. I think it's going to beat us, which is a shame. Can we just about squeeze it out? I'm not sure. I think it won. It did indeed. Very disappointing for that one. If we'd have had the same as our first run, we actually would have taken the win there. But we didn't. Not as good as our first run. A shame. 9.414 seconds to the quarter of a mile with a top speed of 266 kilometers an hour. We did beat the Hamad Al-Stral S in speed-wise, but not quite beating it that time. Just about losing out, which is a shame in the semi-final, especially as we were so close to making it to that final with French Toast. I'll be very disappointed if French Toast is in that final. So let's go and take a look, as well as collecting our winnings, and then get this beautiful Volvo back to the garage, see if we can sell it on for a profit. Unfortunately, neither me nor French Toast actually made it into the final, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm kind of happy because we went out as well. I'd have been disappointed if French Toast made it and we didn't. So there we go. Neither me or French Toast is going to win. Who is going to take the win? Will it be the Ford Mustang drag car, or will it be the Hamad Al-Stral S VM Thor Edition? It is going to be the VM Thor Edition Hamad Al-Stral. We already knew that was powerful. We've seen it before, but there we go. We'll collect our winnings of 2,250. And now let's get back to the garage. 1975 Volvo Mullet Sleeper came 5th place on the speederboard. Not too shabby from a 1975 Volvo. 1,262 horsepower, 9.283 seconds to the quarter of a mile with a top speed of 267 kilometers an hour, 466 miles per hour rounded up. Very, very impressed with that. Yes, it is powered by a Hemi Hellcat, so it does kind of make a little bit of sense. But at the end of the day, it's still a Volvo 240 Coupe. Absolutely fantastic. Loving the Mullet Sleeper. Let's get outside, though. Get ready to say goodbye to that beautiful Volvo. Now it's come in 5th place on the speederboard. That beautiful Hemi Hellcat in that engine bay. It looks absolutely stunning. And fifth place on the speeder board. Absolutely fantastic. But let's talk some facts and figures about this beautiful Volvo. Now, I bought it at the beginning for $3,684, one of the cheapest cars we bought in a while, but we could have sold it there and then and lost out on $777. Obviously, we didn't do that. We then carried on building, designing, upgrading, and tuning the beautiful Mullet Sleeper you see before you, spending a further $87,807 upgrading, tuning, and modifying this beast, pinning our total spend at $91,491. Is there some money to be made from this little sleeper drag racer? There's only one way to find out. Let's get in. Let's take a look. Well, there she is. Obviously, the picture of the estate version, not of the coupe that we've got in front of us, but all 100% finished. Absolutely fantastic. We swapped in that V8 Hemi Hellcat engine from the FME engine that was originally in there. With a factory horsepower of 614, we then added all of the performance parts, gave it a nice little tune, and pumped it up to 1,262. A gain of 106%. Absolutely wild. Loving that Hemi Hellcat. Looks beautiful, especially in this sleeper Volvo. Question is, though, we spent 91,491 to get there. Is there some money to be made? There is indeed, with a sale of 144,565, leaves us with a profit of 53,074 from this beautiful Mullet Sleeper. What do you think? What do you think of the colour? I know it won't be to everyone's cup of tea. I kind of love this dirty mustard. I think we should call it dirty mustard is a much better name than baby poo brown. Dirty mustard is the colour we are going for our beautiful Mullet Sleeper Volvo. Looking absolutely fantastic. Link in the description below if you want to grab this one to yourself. Excellent additions to the mod by Payne. You probably already have this if you've been around on the workshop for a little while, but it's recently had some updates to include the coupe versions, and this one absolutely fantastic. Now, obviously, if you want to build it like I did, you are going to have to go in and make some changes, like add the proper Hellcat exhaust and things like that, with maybe some extra tips on the end because the tips don't quite fully make it. Pull that Hellcat engine back just a little bit to make it fit in and realign the drive shafts. Sounds like a lot, but honestly, it took me about 10 minutes to do everything all told. So it's very nice and simple, but there we go. That's the end of the Volvo. It is time to say goodbye, and we will take our lovely bit of profit. Now, I always keep banging on about the competitions, and I always build one of these cars out here for competitions, always with some modifications. And if you want access to them, you just have to click the join button below. Become a member of the VM Garage Club, where I share all my custom configs, designs, and liveries for you guys to play around with over on our Discord channel, the VM Garage Club. Obviously, well, we just have a chat as well a lot of the time, but it is a place where I go and share all my builds. Now, next coming up is another one of them custom builds. This is the beautiful Mazda RX-7, and it is already a stunning car. I've taken all of the bonus parts off of it so we can get them all on later. You might see a few little extra pipes in the engine bay, but that's about all you'll see for the moment. So let's get in and take a look at our competition entry. There she is. She's just the VM Custom, and I added the salon just so I could test the headlights. You'll see them in the next episode. Hopefully it's all worked and it's all staying working, but we will talk about a little bit more about that next time. So I had to make it available at the salon. I just forgot to take it off, but we did buy the one that we're building from the auction house, and it's in pretty bad condition apart from parts, sitting around at 30%. The engine is the rotary 13B REW twin turbo, because why would you swap it? You've got a Dorito engine in your Mazda. Keep it a Dorito engine. So that's what we're going to keep in that one. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to give it all of the performance parts, and it's going to be a little bit crazy. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Did we get a good deal for it, though? No, of course we didn't. 20,827 is what we paid, and we could currently sell it for 17,317, losing out on 3,510 before we even begin. Now, there is lots of custom. One of the things you will notice about this one is obviously is lowered a little bit more than the standard Mazda. There are a few bonus parts, a few little extra bits going on, especially inside that engine bay, and I'm hoping you're going to enjoy this one. It is going to look absolutely awesome. So make sure you join us back here for our very custom RX-7 Mazda. Is going to be awesome, and competition is currently running. If you want to take part, head on over to the Red Dot Games official Discord server. Build your own Mazda RX-7. You've got to do it before this coming Wednesday at 10 p.m. Otherwise, your entry won't count. What did you think of the Mullet Sleeper Volvo, especially that dirty mustard colour. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. But do let me know in the comments below. Leave a cheeky little like if you enjoyed today's video. Double check you are subscribed and maybe share this video with someone you think might enjoy it. Thank you very much to our channel members. Always fantastic to have you guys around helping me out with some of the builds, especially picking that spoiler and things like that. And obviously, when we finish that Mazda, you'll be the first to get the config over on the Discord. If you want to join, £2.99 a month or whatever that may be in your local currency, click the join button below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day, whatever it is you're getting up to. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Like and subscribe for Virtual Mechanic.